again, everyone, and welcome back to the School for Professional Dog Listeners YouTube channel. Today, I'm with Julie, and Julie's going to talk to us about a story of transformation. And this story, Julie, it's one that you wrote about in your book, wasn't it? It was one of the clients that you worked with.
Yes, it was. And yes, I have to admit to having my book here for notes, just to remind myself of this story, although it is one that is quite clear in my mind, given how great it is.
Yeah. So tell us, maybe to start off with, why did this client come to you for help?
So in the first instance, she came to me because the dog's quite young at this point, just under a year, I believe, or around a year old. And um, his name is Wilf, and was, he had a lot of things going on, to be honest. What I would say is he was probably the most difficult thing was he was hyperactive. He was full of beans, full of energy, and was suffering from a bit of separation anxiety. He was really fussy with his food, and so any kind of reward-based training was difficult. And struggling to settling in the evening was also a bit of a problem. And when they were out, walks were just no fun at all because he was really pulley and like interested in everyone else, not in an aggressive way necessarily, but just kind of in dogs' faces and things that was really obviously stressing my client out considerably.
I remember reading about this particular case in your book, actually. And one of the things that struck me that was quite difficult was that he was being quite physical. He was jumping up at her quite a lot, which always sounds, well, it's difficult to manage. And I was wondering how all of this behavior, this jigsaw of his behavior, which is quite a mix, I was wondering how it was affecting your client's life.
Yeah, it was really difficult because like you say, the physicalness, and he's not a big dog, he's not massive. I would maybe say medium sized, but just the energy was really difficult. And my client had an elderly mum, and so that's obviously really difficult. Having visitors around was really difficult. Just the whole kind of concept of having a dog. So there was this mismatch between what they had hoped it would look like, what they thought it would look like, and what it actually looked like.
Yeah.
And when you have that gap, it's really stressful, really stressful. And it just feels like a lot of responsibility. It can be embarrassing. It's just horrible. And it does take over your whole life, because obviously you're with your dog a lot of the time. So yeah, it was tough. I did feel for her.
I'd read that she'd started to kind of stop being as social and stop having people round as much, which is quite a common issue, isn't it?
Mhm. It is a really common issue, and it's one that is kind of the opposite of why not everybody, but why a lot of people get dogs is so that they can get out and about and meet people, because people with dogs generally are very sociable because it's an icebreaker, isn't it? And when you're out walking, but not if you've got the dog, the delinquent dog. Sorry, Wilf, he's not delinquent. I love him to bits. But when that situation, that's what it looks like. And
Yeah,
so yeah, that's
yeah,
tough.
yeah. So what had she already tried? Had she tried other things before she came to you?
She felt like she tried everything. She had tried kind of like traditional training classes, like puppy classes and reward-based training. And Wilf actually was very responsive when he wasn't all over the place. He was very responsive, actually well trained and almost obedient quite a lot of the time when it suited him. And she'd even tried like a boot camp somewhere in Wales where he was sent off for, I can't recall exactly how long, a week, maybe 2 weeks. Um, so yes, she had tried a lot of different things before she kind of stumbled across me.
Yeah, I've worked with some people that have sent their dogs off to boot camp as well. How did she get on with that? Did it make any difference to her?
Honestly, I can't recall the ins and outs of that. I'm assuming it wasn't wholly successful, otherwise she wouldn't have been looking for me.
Yeah,
But the ins and outs of it, I honestly can't recall.
yeah, okay.
Not
And
sure.
so when you guys started to work together, what were you finding that you were able to help her with that could kind of catch her attention? Did you have were you able to facilitate any quick wins with her, for example?
Yes, interestingly, with Wilf, the eating was an issue, and without going into it too much, eating food, sorry, is very powerful for our dogs. And so when there isn't an issue with food, oftentimes people kind of skip that bit. And it's in this case, because there was an issue with food, it was a very quick win because as soon as she started to introduce the gesture eating, literally within about 3 days, he was starting to eat what we would call healthily. When he's offered food, he would eat it, he would finish it, and there would be no, guarding or any of that stuff. So that was really nice. So although the fussy eating wasn't really a thing that was that annoying, it was enough to go, oh, maybe there's something in this. Maybe, do you know what I mean? Like give her that
Yeah,
kind of motivation to go forward and really keep up with the other things that I was suggesting for her.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And as we know, no one behavior is on its own in isolation with dogs. Everything is connected to everything else. So, was it enough for her just to work on food, or did she need to work on other areas
Yeah,
for
I
him
mean,
to be showing, softer behavior in other areas of life?
yeah, I would say absolutely had to be doing all four. And I would say in this situation, she was really up for trying things and just when it didn't work, coming back and saying, do you know what, that one didn't work for him. It seemed to make it worse. And then we were able to talk it through and go, okay, maybe what you need to do is this. And so we were able to really yeah, work quite deeply because she was so up for it and she was so open to
Mm.
really yeah, really make a difference for Wilf because she could see, I think one of the first things that, um, without putting words in her mouth, but the first thing that seemed to click from my perspective was she started to understand why he was doing it and really to see that he wasn't doing it to be a pain in the neck. It was pain in the neck behavior, 100%, but he wasn't doing it for that reason. And once we were able to have that conversation and, for her to really see, oh, right, okay, he's actually, in many of the instances, he was scared, he was feeling fearful. And so once we were able to have that conversation, that's when things start to spiral in the right direction because you're like, okay, right, tell me, what do I need to do here to help my dog not be scared? So, of
Mm.
course, any sentient being that goes from scared to not scared is going to calm down. And so it was um, that was a quick win from the perspective of he was starting to settle down, he was starting to listen more. And so that really helps to motivate clients when they can start to see that quite quickly.
Yeah. And you mentioned the four, which we haven't yet fully explained on our YouTube channel, but we will do over time. And you're referring to the sort of four main areas that where there is importance in a dog's life. But it's sort of the overriding concept of what we're talking about is seeing the world as a dog sees the world. And that's what you've just been explaining, that your client was able to really grasp that. And then everything becomes different, doesn't it? The moment you see, like you're saying, the dog's not doing it to annoy me, he's doing it because usually it's an anxiety or a fear or a misunderstanding of what's going on in life. And then we use these four different areas of their lives to give them the information that they need to help them calm. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And
that's lovely.
yeah, and we, unfortunately, we can't put timescales on this because we don't know. We're working with living, breathing creatures, and I include humans in that, humans and dogs, and we have got all sorts of things going on in our heads. The dogs have got all sorts of things going on in their heads. But what I have seen generally is that our dogs are desperate for this information. They're desperate for us to understand them more. And if we as humans can be just up for trying something different and just up for really understanding the world through their eyes and, you know, forgetting about, the obedience and the training and the coercion and all of that stuff,
Mm.
which, obedience has its place. But if you're trying to train a dog when they're in a space that they can't hear you because they're feeling confused and scared, then that's obviously going to make life a lot harder.
Yeah, that's the point, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I just going back on what you said about, we can't, it's really difficult to talk about timescales because we're working with individual personalities. Each dog is individual, each client that we work with, human client that we work with, is an individual. And I actually truly believe that this is why dog listening is not as well known as it could be in the world, because it can't really work to TV production schedules.
It can't, and it's not.
And this is a problem for us in
It
our
is a
mission
problem.
to spread the word.
It is, and it's not a one size fits all. I mean, I've written this book,
Exactly.
and it's got all the four pillars in it. It's got all that stuff. It looks like a template, but as I talk about there, it's not really. I guess it's a vague template, and then every single dog is different.
Mm,
I mean, they're unique, and that's the whole point. That's what makes it so amazing and
yeah,
so interesting.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And so where is she now with Wilf?
So yeah, well, I think she's traveling abroad right now as we speak, but yeah, Wilf is living his best life. He really is. He now travels really well sailing with my clients, so he can happily sit up on the boat. I'm saying sailing boat. I don't know. Maybe they call it a yacht. I'm not sure. But it's basically he can sit there now and watch the world go by without reacting, without stressing. He's just happy. And if he does feel uncomfortable because, he's not a robot, then he can take himself off downstairs. They've created a little safe space for him. And my client doesn't feel guilty about any of that. It's like, he can go where he wants to go, where he feels comfortable. And yeah, so he enjoys sailing trips. He's very, very good now out on walks. My client can take him out on walks with most different friends and people that she has and not be concerned. And when she does feel concerned, if he is kind of having a day, maybe everything's been a bit too busy and he's kind of like a little bit on edge, she knows exactly what to do to help Wilf settle down. And that for me is the beauty of watching for my clients to see that they go from feeling confused, embarrassed, frustrated to, oh, I know exactly what to do. The dog is not a robot. We're not looking for this, in inverted commas, perfect dog, but it's the perfect dog for them, the
Yeah.
perfect dog in their family. And they get to really, really have fun and enjoy him, which is great. It's amazing to see.
Oh, that's lovely. So, as we draw this conversation to a close, just before you go, I wanted to ask you if there was one thing that sticks out to you that you think really helped this particular client with this particular dog.
I would say it was the tenacity that she had in the beginning to just keep trying things, to be really open to well, this isn't working, Julie. Okay, what else can we do? Because there's a million different ways to achieve the same thing, and it looks different in every household.
Mm.
And I think for her, yeah, she just was really up for trying things, and she really got into Wilf's head, really got it, really started to understand the world through his eyes. And
Mhm.
actually, she was also really good at setting aside her own needs for a short while just to get things going. And then obviously we bring that back in because our needs are as important as the dog's needs. But yeah, in this case, she just really was up for it. And I
Yeah.
guess when that happens, that's when results happen
Yeah.
in my experience.
Oh, that's great. Thank you, Julie. Thanks for sharing this story. It's lovely to see your pride and enthusiasm telling this story because I think it really demonstrates the impact that we can have as dog listeners,
Yeah.
helping people and helping their dogs. So it's our mission to try to get dog listening talked about much more in order for more people to discover this gentle, this natural method of communicating with our dogs. So hopefully this channel on YouTube will help us do that. Um, if anybody watching this would like to learn more about bringing that calm and natural leadership into your home, check out the links below this video. Join us next week. We're having a conversation about the science and the psychology behind dog listening. So that will be an interesting one. Please remember to like and subscribe. Let us know in the comments what it is about dog listening that you would like to know more about, and we can discuss that at some time soon as well. All right. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Thank you. Bye.